There once was a there once was a There once was a Mustang herd that stayed near the center of South Cliff, near the villages. They were discovered by people very soon as the mare, which soon would I adopt, was walking to check on her herd. The mare was approaching one of the stallions in the herd, the only one who had survived after one of the attacks. She watched him, therefore, looking at one of the mares who had been attacked and was caught by humans. As she approached, all of a sudden, the sounds of whipping filled the air. Then the mare reared before running off. The humans were chasing them. And everyone was running. The horses leaping over tangled roots. Running for their lives. Candy ran for her life, sprinting hard. She turned before all of a sudden a rope was tossed on her. They put a halt on as she reared in fear, but they held on tighter before they let her. They were led back to the ranch. The horses were being led back. The horses continued galloping, right behind the humans, rustlers, in the hollows, while the other people held them down. They went over crevices and down crevices, continuing to right behind the humans as they were being dragged by Hunter, basically. My horse, Candy, felt the last bit of warm prairie grass underneath her hooves. She knew that she wouldn't see it in this crowd. As they were brought near, the horses were pushed towards a walk, continuing to walk, but ears up and below, for they were pushed to a trot. The horses were scared, and Candy knew that the herd was in desperate need of help. Breakaway is part of the herd in charge. It was sad to see her herd like this, but she knew that this was how it was. As they were put into the pen, the Mustangs ran as the bridles were taken off. They cantered and galloped and sprinted. She continued running along the pool. Before she kicked into the air, scared. She ran towards the fence, staying near the side. Before she bucked again, scared. The humans watched from the side. They're wild ones, said one man, as Candy charged at the fence before he stepped back. Whoa, they seem to be great skills. She ran towards the edge before running as loud as she could off to her home. She stared off into the distance. She charged towards the edge, bucking before almost slamming into it. She was nervous. A few days passed. The horses got restless and more restless before they were put back on with halters before they were taken home. The other horses were brought out. They were beginning to be led towards the ferry. It was auction time. The auction would be starshine. Hopefully. The horses would be sold for a few $1,000. The horses were... Little did they know that the horses wouldn't be in the auction. Then they got tired of waiting. Then cowboys from behind started herding, even though they still had the lead ropes in their hands. Then they were put down onto the ferry, taken to Fort Pinto. The roar of the ferry was deafening to the horses, and the horses were scared of it. So they reared and bucked. As she charged towards the escape, all of a sudden it closed, and they were trapped. As the ferry went towards Fort Pinto, the water sloshed into the ferry. Water was covering their hair, and their legs were beginning to be wet. The roar of the ferry was deafening towards the horses, but the cowboys didn't mind much. Instead, when the horses ran and kicked, they laughed at them. Before Candy saw Fort Pinto inside, she was scared though, as more water sloshed all over her. She was scared. As they were unloaded, they were led to the trailer. The horses were halted on, were being herded. She could hear nothing but the cowboys' jostles of spurs and the saddle stuff jingling. She felt the sand under her hooves before closing her eyes, recalling the memories of south her, the lush green grass. Before they were put in a weird trailer and taken to social. As she arrived at the ranch, she was let out. The other horses right behind. As they were pulled over and held, she nickered, watching as Sunwifts came closer. He leered, and she shook her head, getting the birds away before she lashed at him. As they were led straight into the arena, they were put in and closed. People were surrounding in the stands, looking at the Mustangs, bucking. Right now, they were calling, since these Mustangs weren't rideable, they just threw them in the bin, basically. And then the auctioneer called. $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 for Rabakino-looking Mustang mare. $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000! Someone shouted as the mare reared. Sold! Shouted the auctioneer. $1,000, $2,000 for $20,000. Red young stallion. $2,000, $5,000, $4,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. Sold. $1,000 for paint horse Mustang. Paint Mustang. $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $8,000. $8,000. Sold. Then, as the mare sprinted, she couldn't handle it any longer. Then, she jumped, making it over before escaping out into the wilderness. Leaping down a sharp slope, she jumped over a fence on an old construction site, continuing to charge. As they sprinted through the woods, the lush green grass was trampled under her hooves. As she continued sprinting, all of a sudden she heard the whips and spurs of horse neighs. She couldn't help but think, what about the wolf then? She charged towards it, hoping that there was no wolf. As she peered towards the top, there was no wolves there She charged, continuing before freezing right at an edge that leaped right across the canyon. She heard the wolf howl, feeling scared. Chills went down her spine. She had to get across as the cowboys' horses stopped at that wolf howl. They couldn't cut them off. The horses wouldn't go anywhere near. As she ran, she paused before noticing the trail. Then she charged towards it before sprinting up. As she continued running, she stopped, looking at a tree. Quickly, she looks at Angel before pulling off the halter. She pulled the halter off. Then Angel pulled the halter off of Candy. Candy shook her head free before they ran, enjoying the freedom, the whooshing under their hooves as they ran. As she paused at the edge, she watched the horizon before she reeled. At the surroundings before noticing a weird bone. She looked down, noticing the cowboys' horses whinnying. Before she knew they couldn't stay up here long because the cowboys were too near up here. As she sprinted off, she paused, looking at two trails, basically just one. But she decided to take a trail that a Mustang could handle. She slid down carefully, letting the grass slide under her hooves. This was where Mustangs died, right on the cold, rocky edges of mountain. She saw a big forest before continuing to trot. She looked at a tree before quickly continuing to run. The grass mushed under her hooves because it was wet from all the tree. She stared down at the trees. She needed down, so she decided to risk it. She slowly went down one step at a time before pausing. Not thinking it through, she backed up. She knew the humans couldn't get here, but there was no source of water, so they couldn't stay here. She continued moving before remembering that she went down on the cliffs, so that means that there would be no getting back up. She continued going, her herd close behind her. It was scary, but it was a way to escape. But Mustangs thrive in this. Then she ran for it. Freedom! The horses sounded like they were nickering. As she charged down the slope, she realized that there was a jump. She had to, she jumped. She froze. She wasn't gonna make it. It was a dead end. She wondered, maybe they could escape, so she ran back up the slope. Before realizing that one of her members made it down, she couldn't leave any of them. Glancing down, she noticed She decided to find a way away. As she sprinted back up the slippery slope, she ran across a mossy edge, gliding across. Well, she looked at the mossy edge before deciding to turn around. She noticed that all her herd had made it down. She was a little scared of high things. She sprinted down some rocky slopes. She didn't want to leave her herd alone. She was starting to get frightened. There was too many high cliffs that a Mustang would maybe be able to handle, but then she started thinking, how did her herd manage it? Those were the only ones she had left. Her sister and one of the stallions from the herd. She charged through the woods, letting the wind take her rein. She ran right over to her home. The ground was soft and perfect Mustang territory. As she looked at her herd, then she decided to try on. It was chilly, maybe chance of snow, but the water was like ice. There was thin ice. Maybe not safe to cross over. Then she jumped, accidentally beating down on ice, making cracks. As she watched the horses approach, ice started cracking before bursting open. She noticed a weird house. Too much of curiosity lingered in her, so she decided to check it out, telling her herd to stay back. She wanted to take the risk. But her sister, of course, they didn't listen. Glancing in, she just saw, not interested, she decided to look for a nice place to call home. Noticing a opened up area in the water, she lowered her muzzle, letting the cool, refreshing liquid flush down her throat. The Mustangs were enjoying the wow, she could tell. After she finished drinking, she quickly ran across the ice. It was slightly slippery. She let the colder wind blow her mane. Before she sprinted, she had to find a good home for the Mustang, no matter what. Then, pausing, she noticed the field looked trodden down by loads of horses before she sprinted up. Water leapt before her, before she stopped, kicking and flying upward. She ran around, stomping and kicking. She ran, splashing water everywhere. She charged towards the waterfall, letting it take her line before she stopped, lowering her muzzle, letting water roll down herself. Then she kicked it into the air. Water flying everywhere, landing on her mane. Then all of a sudden, she heard hers. Someone was riding by. Quickly, she sprinted away. Thorns tearing at her mane. As she sprinted, the thorns dragged into her fur, but she didn't care. That is how it's always. She jumped. She jumped before dashing off, bucking but playfully off. As she slowed down, she noticed a weird clearing. It was almost unnatural. There was a strange, weird-looking rock in the middle. Curious, she trotted closer. Before snorting at her to stay back. Then she decided to inspect it. There was a path, and she noticed they meant no harm. She looked at the signs. They were pieces of wood. She glanced behind her, letting them know it was safe. Therefore, she decided to follow down the trodden leaves. She galloped off, letting the soft ground cover her hooves. Noticing a huge structure nearby and another one in the background, she decided to go inspect it. Mustangs were curious bunches of horses before freezing. That was a human structure. Her herd rushed towards it, the stallion rearing in order for her to come forward. She came forward before running past the weird logs. She inspected them, sniffing them. She realized that they were man-made, smelling the stench of man on them. Quickly running and bucking, she saw a man standing there. She bucked, scared. Seeing another crowd, she froze, but she couldn't help but smell something different. It smelled good. So as she looked at the field, she came closer, realizing there was potatoes. She wasn't very interested, so she decided just to graze around. Her and her herd hadn't eaten any good grass in days, and this was a nice area for them to stay. She lowered her muzzle, pulling up the weeds and stuff. She noticed one of her herd members eating potatoes. Wondering if they were good, she decided to come over. Before lowering her muzzle, she plucked up some grass pieces of it, the tops, and then she ate it. Then she spat out. It was no good. These potatoes have been sitting here for too long. She lowered her muzzle before grabbing clover. She continued enjoying it. Letting the wind flow through her mane. She heard humans. She heard horses being tacked up. Her ears poked forward before she dashed off. Cobblestone reacted under her nose. As she continued running, fear filled her. She paused for a moment before dashing back in towards the woods. She noticed that she noticed that something was pulling her straight towards she felt stuck. Something was wrong. She tried to pull against it. Something was just pulling her. She stumbled down an edge, almost falling over, but she was a Mustang. She landed it. She jumped. Fear was pulling her instincts were pulling against her. As quickly she was dashing across an unstable rock place. She was about trying to go faster. She couldn't help but sprint through it. The water area filled her mind again. Before she went down another rocky slope, she dashed through the water. She didn't know what was driving her. All of a sudden, she paused, stopping. She glanced behind her. Humans were chasing them. Freezing, she continued running. She paused for a moment before sprinting. Anxiety filled her. She ran quickly. Not wanting to stop. The humans were nearing. And there were so many around her. There was at least 10 chasing these horses. She didn't want to go where they were holding her, but they were holding her back to Starshine in her tower. Fear filled her, and she quickly continued. Realizing no was the only thing that pulled at her. Stop was everything. But if she stopped, maybe that wouldn't. She was thinking closer. Could she stop? Could she run off to the edge? The answer to them was no. As they herded her down towards the river, she got more scared. As she heard fences closing, doors opening, windows clattering, voices whinnying, she knew that they were close to Starshine. She snorted, continuing to run. Noticing the top of the sun, she realized that she wasn't going to run for much longer without eating more. So she slowed down before being brought towards a stall. Anger filled her, remembering the option, letting it recall the horse. As they put a halter on, she flattened her ears. All the horses were running. Hay was tossed into her stall only for her to pick it up, flatten, and toss it out. the horses were snorting, bucking, and tossing their hay out. Then the day of the auction came. This is when I met her. As they were let out, the horses were being taken towards the auction paddock. As they neared closer, fear gripped the horse. They realized that it was happening again. Letting a sigh fall out, she frowned. Seeing people everywhere, and seeing the same people on the stalls except for 3 new ones. As they were herded quicker, all the other horses were tied out. Well, they were all just let in. The mare sprinted, before all of a sudden, I called out, "I'm going for the paint mare. 20,000 your big shillings." "Sold!" shouted the auctioneer. I'll head to the blue road, some kind of mare. "Sold!" 20,000 your bits. "Sold!" shouted them. Then another person shouted for the I'll take the red roan stallion for 20,000. "Sold!" All the horses had been sold that fast. As they were taken out, the mare was sprinting before the gate opened all of a sudden. Then, as the horses were tied down, the humans approached. Petting her, I realized how gentle and sweet she was. "Hey girl, you're good." This is a nice horsey. I'm so glad I bought you. Wait, you're so soft too. Good girl. Yes, you're such a good girl. As I watched the mare, I decided I would take her home. Grabbing her halter, I tried again. She still didn't want to budge that much. As I took her towards the trailer, all of a sudden, she broke free. Easy. Petting her, she started to relax. She was a sweet horse. Then I began to lead her again. I took her towards the trailer before I put her in. Hi, girl. I waved before she went in. But realizing I didn't have enough money for the trailer. As the mare was unloaded from the trailer, I looked at her. The gentle mare. She was a gentle horse. I led her. And Rose was shy, of course. I decided I would tack her up and take her for a ride. Approaching her, I put the saddle pad on. Then I put the saddle on. Crouching down, I put the leg wraps on. I stood up before mounting. The horse started bucking. She was sweet, but she wasn't the best to ride. Then she darted, but I pulled back her horns, pushing her to a stop. She was a sweet horse, though. I wouldn't forget that. The man was shy, of course, and would not like me riding here, but I get to work on her. Anyways, guys, that's the end of the video. Bye. Thanks to Courtney Underwalker and Adrian Clearlake. I can make this video. So, bye everyone.